principal of Brookland-Cayce High School, and it is my privilege to welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Brookland-Cayce High School takes great pride in honoring each graduate in formal commencement. Graduating from high school is one of the most significant events in a person's life. Therefore, we feel that the graduation ceremony should be approached with the utmost dignity and respect. We appreciate your assistance in preserving the dignity of this once-in-a-lifetime experience. Please stand for the presentation of the colors and remain standing through the processional, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the National Anthem.
by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We would now like to take a moment to pause in our ceremony and say that we are deeply saddened with the unexpected passing of Sam Frierson. Sam was a beloved staff member, coach, and also the voice of the Bearcats, announcing at our football, soccer, and basketball games. Additionally, Sam's voice has been announcing all the graduates' names since we have been graduating in Bearcat Stadium. Sam will be greatly missed. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Please pause for a moment of silence in memory of Sam.
Good morning, family, friends, and guests of the class of 2019. I am Allie Page Thornton, the student body president here at Brookland-Cayce High School. On behalf of my fellow graduates, it is my honor to welcome you to Fort Knox Stadium, a familiar place to many of us here today. We cheered our football team to many victories in these stands. We camped out on this field before our senior breakfast. We won multiple region titles and even a lower state championship in this stadium. Beyond this field, we've made many memories within the halls of our school. We gathered in the auditorium without an open seat in sight for our class assemblies. We filled 7th Street for our homecoming parade when we felt as if it was 1,000 degrees outside. And we laughed together as we tried to stay awake during our teachers' lectures throughout exam week. But now, we gather here today to celebrate an accomplishment that will forever unite this class. Our graduation. As I began to reflect on our time together at BC, one word continued to echo in my mind, and that was love. Many of us gathered here today were able to grow up together, experiencing our different stages of life hand in hand. We met as classmates in elementary school. We watched our relationships grow into deeper friendships throughout middle school. We gained vital members of our Bearcat community throughout our journey, and now we spend our last moments of high school together united as a family. Though the accolades and accomplishments from our years together will one day fade from our minds, it is the memories of love and joy that we have shared as a class that will carry us throughout our lives. Whether we are continuing our education in college, immediately entering the workforce, or serving our country in the military, we will always remember the school that allowed us to blossom into the people that we have grown to be today. And now, as we are united here today to celebrate the beginning of new life experiences, it is important to know that we will always have a place to call home, we will always have friends to call on, and we will always have the bond of this Bearcat family. To the family and friends of the class of 2019, we thank you for being part of our journey, and we thank you for being part of this special moment here today. To the class of 2019, this is it. This is the moment that we have worked tirelessly towards for the past 12 years. This is our last moment together. So soak in this experience, united with your Bearcat family, and move on to the next stage of life, confidently knowing that you will always have a place to call home.
What's up? These past 4 years have been wild. We've experienced so much together as a class, as well as accomplished a great deal in academics, athletics, and what I closely identify with, the arts. I know that we are all proud of the things we have done and excited for the things we are about to do in life. We have taken all the steps it takes to leap. Now it's time to jump. John Lennon told us, "There's nothing you can do that can't be done." We are about to embark on the second phase of our life, adulthood. We can reminisce about our past, but one thing that is coming and coming quicker than ever is growing up. At this point, we are pretty much there. One thing to never forget is how there is nothing standing in our way to reaching our goals. Nothing is impossible. There is no problem without a solution. Therefore, there is nothing we can do that can't be done. Lennon goes on to advise us that we can learn how to be you in time. These past 4 years, more than any time in our life, we grew up and grew into ourselves. We figured out who we are and started forming who we are going to be. Speaking personally, I had a hard time figuring myself out when I stepped through those doors for the first time. I took solace in the theater department, and from there, I grew. For better or worse, we've grown into the people we were meant to become, which is something to take comfort in. Remember to love yourself, because you won't be able to love anything in your life if you can't find love for yourself first. The final reminder from Lennon: there's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. Everything we have done has led up to this moment of graduating together. Consider if you are where you are supposed to be or where you are meant to be. So many people in your life will tell you where you're supposed to be, but only you know, really. So when we leave here, remember to keep your feet planted in your own motivation, and remember that you control what you do with your life. All in all, I am proud of all of us and feel honored to speak to all of you today. We have accomplished something great, class of 2019, and I can't stress it enough. In our life, we may have our ups and downs, so if you're ever in a rut, listen to Mr. Lennon one more time. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Keep on keeping on, class of 2019.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to introduce the Superintendent of Lexington School District 2, Dr. Bill James. Dr. James received a Bachelor's of Science in Biology from Wofford College and then furthered his education with a Master's in Education from the University of South Carolina. He then went on to receive an Education Specialist degree in Administration from Clemson, finishing with a Doctorate of Philosophy in Educational Administration from USC. Before coming to Lex 2 for the 2015 school year, Dr. James served as a superintendent of Cherokee County School District 1 and the educational consultant for the South Carolina School District of the Deaf and Blind. He then later served as the chairman of the Upstate Carolina Medical Center Board. Let us welcome Dr. Bill James.
Thank you and good morning. Welcome to the commencement exercises for Brookland-Cayce High School's 2019 class. Today's a milestone for each of our graduates, and as has already been said, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's a special celebration for the family members and friends, and speaking from past personal experience, parents who have gathered here to acknowledge this accomplishment. Joining me on stage are some distinguished guests whose presence demonstrates their interest and their support for the education of the students in Lexington District 2, and in particular, the graduating class of 2019. I ask that you wait until we've introduced all of them before you thank them with your applause. Instrumental in your education has been our Board of Trustees, and I'd like to introduce them. Mr. Bill Bingham is our chair, Mr. Kevin Key is the vice chair, Ms. Christina Rucker is the secretary, Ms. Beth Branham, board member, Ms. Cindy Kessler, board member, Mr. Bud Summers, board member, and Ms. Linda Alford Wooten, board member. Additionally, we have district administrators, Mr. Don Eisenhower, our Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Jim Hinton, our Chief Administrative Officer, Dr. Angela Cooper, Chief Human Resources Officer, Mrs. Marty Rawls, Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Dixon Brooks, Director of Secondary, and Dr. Frida Bingham, Director of Elementary Education. From all of them and from all of the people in Lexington too, we'd like to wish you a great day. Enjoy your graduation because it truly is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Congratulations.
Class of 2019. It is my honor to introduce our salutatorian, Reese Hungerford. I've known him since middle school, and I've seen his dedicated work ethic. Reese's progressive success has shown itself all throughout high school, and it is clear that he will succeed in college and future endeavors. But despite his serious grades, he's taken approximately 11 AP classes, and he's not always considered a very serious person. With his ever-present Orioles cap or USC gear, he can always tell a great corny dad joke, and these jokes appear out of thin air. It is impossible to dislike Reese. He's humble, friendly, and never gives into negativity. When many of us would get pessimistic about school, Reese's genuine good attitude and great laugh would lift our moods. It's hard to identify Reese's charisma. It's just easily to say it's just Reese. Looking forward, he has the attitude and personality to overcome any future obstacles and achieve his goals. In the fall, Reese will attend the Honors College at the only school he would ever consider, the University of South Carolina, majoring in finance and minoring in sports management. I am proud to present to you Class of 2019 Salutatorian Reese Hungerford.
First off, I want to thank Jacob for the introduction, his kind words, and his friendship as we have gone through high school together. He is an incredibly accomplished student, and I wish him the best of luck as he goes off to USC and the College of Pharmacy. And I want to thank everyone here today. This day would not have been possible without all of your support over these many years. I believe there are very few 18-year-olds who have acquired much wisdom to pass on to others at this point in their lives, and I am certainly not one of them. So I will just share with you something that has been on my mind as this day has approached. Graduates are often challenged to go out and change the world and make it a better place. That's a pretty tall order. After all, the world is a pretty big place. But what we all can do is go and change someone's world for the better as we go through our daily lives. Who is that someone? It could be anybody. Family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, or strangers. It does not require some grand gesture, like donating a large sum of money to charity either. Simply by treating others, even those with whom we disagree, with kindness, compassion, and respect can change someone's world for the better. And oftentimes, you will never know the positive impact you have made. I know this for a fact because I experienced it a few years ago when a small gesture changed my world.